Hello, Internet. What happened to my hair? I'm kidding. Who the hell cares? So, movie review, vlog for you, I suppose. I just finished watching the brand new Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, Maggie.
Please, Dad, please. You have to do it.
So, let me get my thoughts on that. I had seen the trailer for this probably about a month or two ago and was kind of surprised to see that it was already out on DVD and available for rent. Um, I guess evidently when Lionsgate bought the property for it, they pulled, because the movie, as I read online, was supposed to be on a few film festivals, but it got pulled by Lionsgate after they bought the property for it. Why, I don't really know. Maybe they didn't trust the property all that much. And the movie itself, it's a semi-post-apocalyptic, some kind of a new infection has started an epidemic. It's a viral infection, turns people into kind of ravenous zombies, but it kind of seems to be under control for the most part. They have quarantine sections, and civilization seems to be okay for the most part. Not 100%, but it's okay. It takes place in this kind of midwestern, very farm country, but apparently, I don't know if this has anything to do with the infection, but we're kind of told over the radio by NPR that people are being told to burn their crops to prevent some sort of another form of infection that's kind of killing the crops and has been spreading. And Arnold Schwarzenegger is a farmer, and he and his new wife, along with their children, this is actually his second wife, according to the film, because his first wife died beforehand. And they already have another couple of kids, and their daughter Maggie, I guess, left for a reason that's not really explained. And this is actually where she's attacked and where she gets infected, because he finds her, I guess, at a hospital because he's been looking for her for some time, and he's told that basically she has been bitten and she is infected, and she has probably a couple of weeks before she will turn. And they have a few methods for this, in that she'll be quarantined, or they can take her. Those are really the only procedures that are kind of allowed. Though other people will obviously take drastic measures where they will just keep them locked up because they can't let go. There's another character that we're shown where after Maggie's been brought back home at one point, she goes off into the woods and she finds a few other people that are infected that apparently were neighbors of theirs. One of them was a small child who was like horribly infected, and this just happened to be a child she used to babysit for. And her father finds her out there with them as they're just kind of shambling around, and they've been fully turned. And he was trying to see if there was still any glimpse of humanity, and had no choice but to put them down. And I mean, overall, it's a very dark movie. It's very dark in tone. It's very dark, especially with how it's shot. It's very well acted. There are a few moments, probably only later on in the movie, where we're actually given some kind of joyful dialogue, because everything else is just kind of whispered, and everybody's very concerned and very afraid, not really sure of what they need to do, because Schwarzenegger's character, Wade, has a really tough decision that he has to make. He's kind of already made it, though, where he doesn't want to take his daughter to quarantine, and he's not going to. And everybody's telling him, well, it's either that, and he has a doctor friend who he takes her for her later appointment to find out like how far along on the infection scale is she, and it's getting pretty bad. And he tells Wade that, well, according to my report, I will tell them that the infection is slow, so that will buy you some time. And in between that, you got two options. One, take her to quarantine, and Wade basically says, I'm not doing that. I'm not taking her to quarantine. He also tells him, well, I can give you what they basically give her in quarantine, which is this sort of fluid that is either injected, and basically it's how they put them down in quarantine. It's how they kill them. Because there is no cure, at least as far as the government knows. And there is still a government in this world. We are told that there is still a government, and that there is still a functioning military. That everything is not in utter chaos. Hell, there are still even local police, and things like that. There's basically, this movie is very much, you could say, was inspired by the video game The Last of Us. Because it basically takes place in, obviously, these sort of safe zones. And there are quarantine zones and zones where it's best that you don't go, and curfew and such things like that. And anyway, his doctor friend gives him this stuff later on that says that you could give this to her. Now, I've been told, and according to reports, it's excruciatingly painful. All the way up into the end. But at least this way, she would die with you. She would die with family. As opposed to being surrounded by soldiers and doctors and other infected people that she doesn't know. Or, you make it quick. And actually, it's Arnold who says, is there a third option? And the doctor just looks at it and says, make it quick. And, yeah, this is a good movie. I would certainly say it's worth a rental. It's certainly worth looking at. I actually went out to other video stores to try and see if I could find a physical rental copy, but it was all rented out. So I rented it off the PlayStation 4 network for about $4 for an SD copy. And this was a good movie. Arnold was very good. I did have to turn the subtitles on for certain parts where I couldn't understand what it was he was saying because of his accent. But he's really downplaying it. He is very much playing the widowed old father, basically, at this point. Very loving, very caring father, but obviously a very, still a very strong person, very much emotionally and such, where he's just trying to hold on to his daughter. The ending is something that you don't expect. There's not that much of a twist or anything like that. It's not like, oh, she's cured, she's not going to turn or do anything like that. No, she does turn, but it's not until like the last few seconds of the movie. And so, spoilers here. Wade has already made the decision that he's going to put down his daughter. And he is very hesitant about doing it, because, it's your daughter. And so during their last night, he puts her to bed, and then he's waiting downstairs with his shotgun. And she wakes up before he does, and you just sort of see her walking down the stairs, and you assume, because of her heavy breathing, and because the infection has spread throughout all of her body, her body's just covered in these, in the black-looking veins, and her skin's all pale, and her breathing is very raspy, and she shows no signs of humanity at this point. And she walks down the stairs very slowly and comes up to her father, who's fast asleep in the chair. And she gets really close to him and looks like she's like smelling him. And you know, you're not sure what's going to happen, if she's going to bite him, and she gets really close to his face. And she kisses him on the forehead, very softly. And then she turns and walks away. And she takes like one last look at him and then walks out the door. And I was expecting like police or soldiers to be outside and shoot her and kill her. Arnold wakes up and notices one of the shotgun shells, the one and only shotgun shell, was lying on the floor, and loads it up and goes and looks for his daughter. Well, she's walked out, and she climbed up on the roof of the house, and she throws herself off the roof. And as she's falling, you see her eyes go completely black, where she completely turns. And then the movie ends. And aside from a lot of the very dark and very, I want to say existential, but that's not what I'm looking for. Very, what's the word? There's a lot of dialogue, basically, that talks about like what characters need to do and such. And I mean, it's only later on that we're given when characters start to do anything that really shows that they are a family, and that they do care about each other, and that they do love each other, despite all these, you know, these very dark things that are going on currently with them right now. And you know, like this very funny scene where at one point they're having dinner, and Caroline, Wade's wife, and Maggie's stepmother, the food didn't seem to get cooked properly, and I don't know if that was just kind of played up, where Arnold's character was just trying to make his daughter laugh, where he's eating and he acts like it doesn't taste very good, and he kind of overemphasizes it to Maggie, and then says out loud to his wife, "Honey, this food is delicious." Oh. And then she turns around and goes, "Really? Well, then in that case, you will not be getting any dessert." And then Maggie replies, "Also, then does that mean we're getting a stay of execution?" And you know, and it was just a very sweet and very kind of human moment. And then later on, Maggie and Wade are outside, and Wade is working on his truck, and he starts talking about her mother, just about how she was so very different from him. You know, and how she was very strong, and that he sees that in his daughter. Pretty stereotypical stuff that you would see from probably any kind of a scene like that, you know, between a father and daughter sort of thing. But it worked, you know, because the actors sell that, and because these characters sell it. It's not a lot of gore. It's rated PG-13. There's no real language or anything like that. There can be some minor intense violence, but you don't really see a lot. The most you see is at one point when Maggie breaks her finger after she falls off of a swing, and her finger is like really dislocated, and she's really going through the change of this viral infection. It did have a name. I probably just can't really pronounce it. It was like necroplasmic or you know, or something like that. It was a made up word basically. And instead of, you know, trying to get bandages or anything like that, she goes over to the cutting board and grabs the knife that her stepmother was using to like cut up fresh fruits and stuff like that, and she just chops her finger off. And you don't really see her actually severing the finger or anything like that. And there's black blood everywhere, and you know, I think that's about as gory as it really gets. All in all, I thought this was a pretty good movie. Again, I was pretty surprised to see that it was already available on DVD and such. I had wondered, like, did it do poorly in theaters? Like, no, I guess it just didn't get a very wide release. Maybe Lionsgate just didn't see a whole lot of faith in this, but it's rented out at every one of the video stores here. I don't know how well it did. From what I read, it got quite a few mixed reviews. I thought it was okay. I think it's worth a rental. If you have any interest in this, and seeing Arnold in another pretty dramatic role, I thought was pretty nice. I really liked him in the Last Stand movie. I mean, that was a movie that was both quite a bit of fun, and at the same time, had some really good character moments. And this is certainly another one of those. And I mean, he also did produce this movie as well. So hopefully that says a little something. So I hope that you guys have enjoyed. I got some more indie zombie stuff that I'm trying to work on, be they Let's Plays and probably a few other game reviews. So until the next time, I hope that you guys have enjoyed. If you did enjoy this video, please click the like and subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it. You can check me out on Twitter at JMR83709. Hope that you guys have enjoyed. See you next time.